FE Choices Week is all about helping you make informed decisions about what happens when you leave secondary school, whether you already know exactly what you want to do as a career or whether you're completely undecided. There are so many different training and further education pathways available and lots of different career routes to achieving the same end career goal. So we've produced a range of videos to help you understand what your options are, from apprenticeships to A-levels. Our videos contain all the information you need to understand the difference between one pathway and another, the entry requirements, learning environments, career prospects, and important things you need to consider or questions you should ask before deciding what happens next. They're ideal for students, teachers, parents and carers, and we've produced a range of planning tools, fact sheets and videos to go alongside them on our website too. So whether you're currently choosing your GCSE options, applying for colleges or training providers, maybe you have your place booked in for September, but you want the reassurance of knowing you've made the right decision, or perhaps your first choice hasn't panned out and you need help knowing where to go from here. We'll talk you through the different FE options available to you now or in the future. Today we're going to focus on A-levels, a really common choice for post-16 study, and T-levels, a relatively new option that's halfway between A-levels and apprenticeships, focusing on technical skills linked to a chosen industry or sector. We'll cover what A-levels and T-levels are, study methods, course delivery, the benefits of each and the differences between them, and what happens next after completing A-levels and T-levels. So first up, what exactly are A-levels? So an A-level is an advanced level qualification. They were first introduced into the UK education system in 1951, replacing the Higher School Certificate or HSC. In Scotland, there is an equivalent qualification called Highers, and they have a slightly different education system to England and Wales. A-levels are a level 3 qualification, and this means that they're the next step on from your GCSEs, which are classed as a level 2 qualification. You need to think about what you'd like to do for a career, even if it's too early to make a decision. The levels indicate the difficulty of a qualification and can give you an idea of what might be required in terms of commitment and how it can help you progress onto your next step. The higher the number assigned to a qualification, the more difficult it is. Levels are used across the world so that qualifications you study here or abroad can be converted into an equivalent qualification if you decide to continue your education elsewhere. If you're interested in finding out more, you can find qualification level tables and conversion tables online. A-levels can be taken at any stage in your life, but they might not always be free. And this is because the government fund education. They guarantee a place will be available for you on an FE course when you are leaving school, but note that this means that they promise to give you a place on an FE course, not that you have to be given one if you don't reach the entry requirements. Once you turn 19, you're classed as an adult, and this means your education is funded differently, and courses might not always be available or free to you. This is one of the reasons that it's important to think about your career options now. A-levels are one of the most popular career choices for young people leaving school, and you might know friends or family who've taken this route. The most popular subjects taken in 2020 were maths, economics, biology, physics and chemistry. AS levels are also level 3 qualifications, and AS stands for Advanced Subsidiary. This qualification roughly equates to half an A-level, or the first year of an A-level. Even though they are the same level as an A-level, they're not as long, and so you won't gain the same amount of knowledge as you would if studying for a full A-level. And AS levels are usually studied alongside other qualifications. If you're considering studying A-levels, you should know what to expect. The entry requirements for studying will be different for each provider who is delivering A-levels, but a good rule of thumb is that you'll need to demonstrate that you've successfully studied at the level below and are ready to move on. This is generally regarded as having passed 5 GCSEs at grades 4 to 9, that's A star to C on the old grade system, and this is usually including maths and English. Most providers will want you to demonstrate an interest and skill in the subject you want to study. So we'll ask for a 5, that's a B, or above in that subject at GCSE. Entry requirements are usually placed within the prospectus or online, so it's easy for you to find and look it up. Remember that these are guidelines and that it may still be possible for you to study even if you don't meet all of the entry requirements, as you may be able to resit a GCSE alongside studying at A-level, and it will depend on the provider. It's always worth asking if you don't have the necessary qualifications, as providers are there to help. And even if they can't offer you a place immediately, they can signpost you to the best options to get you where you want to go, such as a level 2 access course, for example. A-levels are 2 years long, and most students will study 3 or more subjects at the same time. Even though your timetable might look different to your school timetable, it's important to remember that all those gaps when you don't have a lesson are for you to do independent study and work on assignments if you want to achieve good grades in your exams. So you need to develop independent study skills. All of your options after school will encourage you to be more independent and start transitioning into adulthood. So there'll be a greater emphasis on organising yourself and taking personal responsibility. One of the most popular routes after school is to study A-levels at FE College. FE stands for further education, and this covers everything that's taught at a level 3 standard. FE colleges might be independent or state run and will be a cross between the school that you are used to and the university life you might be aiming for. You'll find the campuses are more open and you might have to travel further or even use public transport to get there. A-levels will start in September at a similar time to the school term, and the terms and holidays will be almost the same. It's important to try and attend an open day or event to get a feel for what college life might be like and whether it suits you. Bear in mind, there's a lot more to FE than just choosing a qualification. There's the social aspect and support and guidance that you should look into as well. Details about student life can be found on the provider's own websites. Now, the most important thing to think about and keep in mind when you're making your choices is to think about what you will do afterwards. You've been at school for a long time and will have had very little choice so far in where you want to go and how you study, so the choices now can feel a bit overwhelming. The next steps you will take will be short compared to what you've done before. You've spent years building up to a level 2, but your next steps will come quickly. Almost as soon as you've made the choice about what you want to do after school, people will be asking you about what you want to do after that. You don't have to have your whole life mapped out. Some of you will have definite goals, and for others you will have no idea. Rest assured that this is completely normal. After A-levels, most young people will go on to study at university. Your A-levels will convert into what are called UCAS points. This is a grading system that universities use because the pathways to degrees are varied, and it'd be difficult to list all the different combinations of entry requirements, so they've set up the point system. Each degree course will state how many UCAS points you need to apply, and each grade you achieve now will be worth so many points, so you can add these up to see if you'll have enough to get onto that degree course. The lower the grade or qualification now, the lower the points at a UCAS level. You might want to study further, but not go on to a degree. And there are lots of opportunities available to you there as well. You could take a sidestep and study a different subject at level 3, or a more vocational technical course such as BTEC. You could take a smaller step and do a level 4 or 5 course such as a higher national certificate HNC. You could study any of these at a college or FE provider, or you might decide to combine them with work and earn some money by applying for an apprenticeship. Or you might decide at this point that you're ready for the world of work and enter the jobs market, or even become self-employed. Remember that you can always come back to education or training at a later stage if you want to or if you need to. So to summarise what we've covered so far in A-levels, remember that they are linear courses. This means that most of the grade that you will achieve will come from sitting an exam at the end of your course. They're similar to GCSE exams in that they are held at the same time and day across the country for everyone studying that subject. You won't know your results for a while afterwards, and everyone gets their results on the same day. Similar to GCSEs, A-levels are subject-based qualifications, so you'll spend most of your time learning in the classroom in a similar fashion to GCSE, so a combination of PowerPoints, videos, research tasks, projects and assignments, and smaller tests. If you enjoy studying at school and like the structure of the lessons, then A-levels may be a good option for you. If you have subjects you enjoy or excel at, A-levels offer you the opportunity to continue focusing and building on this without aiming for a specific role or industry. A-levels are instantly recognisable. They've been around since the 1950s, and universities and employers will know the standard to which you've studied. If you think that A-levels for you, If you think that A-levels are for you, but you aren't sure about the next step after that, you can look at studying a facilitating subject. These are A-levels that universities accept for a wide range of degrees because of the foundation knowledge and skills that you'll develop by choosing them. But try not to disadvantage yourself by choosing very similar subjects unless you've researched it carefully. For example, choosing business studies and economics may hinder some university applications. Spend some time looking at degree courses and seeing what the recommended routes to application are, and then pick the subjects that give you options. Moving on to T-levels. So what are T-levels? T-levels are a new government-funded qualification. It stands for Technical Qualification, and they were introduced in September 2020. You could define a T-level as Part A-level, Part B-Tech, as it's a cross between the two. They were designed by talking with employers and industry experts who identified a list of skills, knowledge and behaviours that a person would need to develop or excel at a certain role or in a certain industry. Each T-level is equivalent to 3 A-levels, so they cover a lot of detail. They're slowly being rolled out across the country, so you might not have heard of them before, and chances are you won't know anyone who's taken one. Currently, there are only a limited number of providers and subjects available, but this will grow. Last year, there were just 3 T-level subjects to choose from at a handful of schools and colleges. September this year, another 7 subjects were introduced, and by September 2023, there should be 24 subjects available and a wider choice of providers delivering them. Some of the courses you can study at the moment include Design, Surveying and Planning for Construction, Digital Production Design and Development, Education and Childcare, and new for this year, Building Services Engineering for Construction, Digital Business Services, Digital Support Services, Health, Healthcare Science, On-Site Construction and Science. Like A-levels, these courses are free to you if you start before you are 19. There are different rules which apply if you have an Educational Health Care Plan, an EHCP. If you are considering pursuing a T-level, some of the things that you'll need to research are the same as for A-levels. You'll need to know what the provider is asking for in terms of your prior achievement. Again, a good rule of thumb is to demonstrate that you can study at the level below. As T-levels are level 3, most providers will ask for you to have 5 GCSE passes at grades 9 to 4, that's A star to C, including maths and English. Remember to check the websites or prospectuses if you're in doubt. Give them a ring, ask to speak to someone from the careers team or the department delivering the qualification. If you don't quite meet the entry requirements, sometimes there are options available for you, so it's always worth asking. T-levels are being delivered by a limited number of providers currently, so where you will study will be more restrictive than if you were taking a different level 3 option. They are different to A-levels in that even though it may be offered by the same college, you'll spend less time in the classroom and more time in a work environment. T-levels are also 2 years in length. You'll spend 80% of that time in the classroom and the other 20% will be spent on an industrial placement. There are several compulsory components to a T-level. In order to pass, you'll need to complete them all. There'll be a core technical qualification which will be assessed externally. Similar to A-levels, you'll sit one of these exams at the end of each year and you'll also be assessed on the practical skills you're taught and will need to demonstrate competency in them. And then lastly, you'll need to undertake an industrial placement, 315 hours or approximately 45 days of work experience. Plus, if you need to gain a pass at level 2 in maths or English, you'll sit functional skills or GCSEs alongside your T level. Your work placement might be done all at once, so in a block of 315 hours, or over the course of your T level, for example, 1 day a week. And this is something that you might want to think about when choosing your options. So why choose T levels? T levels are a good cross between the more academic A level and the very practical apprenticeship route. If you have a good idea about what you want to do as a career and want to gain the advantage of developing practical skills and experience with an employer in the industry, then they might be a good choice for you. It's a good chance to try out if a certain career is for you without making the commitment of an apprenticeship straight from school. And they still provide a pathway to university as well as to further study, employment and apprenticeships upon completion. You'll be awarded a pass, merit or distinction as an overall grade, similar to a BTEC or vocational technical qualification. This will convert into UCAS points, and you can find out how many you'll get for each grade by looking up the table online. Your overall grade will be based on your achievements in your occupation specialism, module grades and your industrial placement, and obviously that's a recognised standard as per A levels. So what happens after you've finished your T levels? Well, your options are wide. Of course, you can choose to continue gaining qualifications, either applying to university for a degree course or pursuing other higher education offers, such as a higher national certificate, HNC, that we've mentioned, or a level 4 BTEC, which could be undertaken at HE provider or on an apprenticeship. You might also decide to stop there and enter industry to start work or set up your own business or social enterprise. You might even find work with the employer that you've completed your placement with. So, some areas for you to think about when weighing up your options. Firstly, the future. What would you like to do, or where would you like to be in, say, 5 years' time? Now, what skills and qualifications do you have already? What experience do you have? What do you know about yourself? Are you confident and self-motivated? Do you like a lot of support and guidance? Do you like to study, or are you more practical? Are you ready for work, or do you want to spend more time preparing and building skills? Think about the how. Think about how you will get from where you are now to where you want to be. Start planning your own map and think about all the different routes you can take from A to B. There's almost always more than one option, so which excites you the most and interests you? Which one are you most likely to commit to? You should also think about things like the practicality, so exams. The likelihood is, because of coronavirus, you haven't had to sit an exam under the pressure of a national test environment. So ask your provider how they will help you prepare if that's part of your preferred path. Choices. Ask what happens if you change your mind. Is there a deadline? Can you change subjects if you decide you don't like it at A level, or can you change your end career goal? You might be trying new subjects, so this is an important thing to consider. Results. What happens if you don't get the grades you were expecting? What options do you have? You can prepare this alternative route now if you know what a provider might offer you if you don't get 5 GCSEs, for example. Ask the provider what they could do or how they could offer to help you. Information. Now is your chance to ask lots of questions. The more information you can arm yourself with, the better choices that you can make. There's no silly questions, and there's no such thing as too many questions when it comes to important decisions like the ones that you're making now. So make sure that you talk to your friends and family too. Work experience and industry placements. So part of studying at FE level is preparing you for adulthood. And so all options will involve an element of work preparation and some time spent in the work environment. Ask about how this works. Do you need to find your own? Will someone support you? When are you required to do it? And what impact will not being able to do it have on your course? I hope you found this module interesting and informative. Remember that it's just the starting point and that lots more information is available on the Stockport Jobs Match website. That's stockport-jobsmatch.co.uk/career-options. There you'll find career guides, employer videos and resources which can help you plan your path and start to have those conversations. And the GMAX website also has lots of resources that you can use. If you have any questions, you can also email them to us at info@stockport-jobsmatch.co.uk.